The Drumlin Trail is a conveniently placed recreational trail located just behind Lady Eaton College after a short parking lot hike. It was chosen not only for the reason of convenience, but also because it just so happened to be the middle of winter and we didn't want to get lost in the cold. So, we went with a trail that one of us knew and the other didn't. And with that, we set off.
In the dead of winter, not many people are hiking. Turns out people a majority of the time don't like the cold. However, the benefit of this was that it had been mostly undisturbed by humans and animals alike. We did see some abandoned habitats such as bird nests high up in the trees, along with some small burrowings, presumably left by birds in quite a few of the trees we passed.
And seen here we have the wild Wesley making his way down a hill and into the clearing below, in one of the few spots of natural greenery left on the hill.
Anyways, now a brief word from Simon on the trail.
Okay, now, besides noting the fact that it's really cold up on the trail right now, you can definitely note the amount of human noise. Now, I'm not talking about the crunching of our footsteps, but I'm talking about all the ridiculous pollutive noise around us. It's a bit too quiet to hear right now through the video, even if we were to stop walking, but the hum of electricity is present from the massive pylons behind us. The rush of the hydroelectricity dam is way back there. And then you've also got the major roadways and housing development projects down that way. That is definitely not good for nature at all, and you can see it slowly encroaching on this protected land.
Simon on the trail does have a point there. From this clearing, there are many examples of human interference in nature. In the far distance is a rather large hydroelectric dam, which, while unable to be heard in the video, is quite loud and an eyesore when looking at the environment which surrounds it, along with also disrupting the aquatic life which uses the river. Switching to a wider view, we can see a parking lot, which you might struggle to find a spot in, the aforementioned dam, massive pylon towers, and then finally on the far left, a busy roadway and a rather large housing development.
However, nature is slowly reclaiming some of the man-made structures here on the Drumlin, such as this telephone pole, which I can be seen climbing thanks to a lack of in-the-moment impulse control. Now look how proud I am there. Anyways, whilst naturally observing our surroundings in a very casual manner, we spotted a tiny bit of life in the form of moss clinging to this rock, along with this very nice and well-built teepee in the middle of the woods, nowhere near a pathway. Eventually, after joking around a bit, Wesley decided to make a snow angel, and I can be seen in the background there, running through the woods, having the time of my life. And now, a few quick words from Wesley and Simon on the trail. Wesley and Simon, any thoughts?
Walking through these woods, I feel a sense of nostalgia from my childhood of walking up hills and playing with any rock I could find.
Definitely invokes a very childlike sense for me too. I mean, just remembering being up north all those years ago with my grandparents, just playing in the trees, nature itself, it was really something to behold.
After this, we switched paths and began on the final part of the trail. It was also becoming darker at this time and slowly more quiet and eerie, causing me to nickname this part of the trail the Blair Witch Trail, due to the abundance of unnaturally planted trees and unexpected rock piles I am not sure of the significance of, but they did look cool.
What about it is eerie to you?
It's just unnatural. It's just not
No natural form of life is this perfect.
It was quickly getting darker and more quiet. There wasn't too much to really talk about on this stretch of the trail until I saw that there was a tree splintered and went to go look at it. I immediately decided to go grab it and try and figure out why it was broken. It seemed to be relatively fresh, but it definitely wasn't lightning since there was no sign of burn from heat. So we eventually came to the conclusion that it was the wind or another force of nature, as there were Also, no signs of cutting or chopping.
By the time we made it to the base of the hill, it was almost completely dark, and we left having not seen any animal life at all, minus the wild Wesley earlier, until at the very last minute, we saw a rabbit hiding underneath a bush just near the trailhead. It was with this rabbit sighting that our walk on the Drumlin Trail came to an end.
Overall, it was really nice to get out into nature even in the middle of a pretty cold winter. One of the many things we noticed was how damaged the environment on the trail was from human interference over many years. Damage which wouldn't have been visible at any other time of the year.
Walking the trail was a relaxing and fun experience. Since it's been so cold recently, we've been spending a lot of time indoors, and the massive shift in scenery was a nice change of pace.
However, we did have to stop and wonder what this all must have looked like before everything in this area was built up and changed.